Okay, your life. So, okay, take us through your workshop.
So these two Husqvarnas here, I used to race on these ones. I think this was my race bike. And then in PE, we went down to PE, and I kept on burning clutches because we thought it was the bikes and the mechanic, but it wasn't. My coach, when we were training there, he had to monitor me, checking if I was on the clutch. And I was, and I burnt through 6 clutches in I think like 3 days. So, and we thought it was the mechanic.
Alright.
But then when we came down, we actually bought 2 new KTMs, and we went down to race Sasolburg. There, I still raced Husqvarnas because we didn't want to ride the new KTMs in and then like mess them up for PE. But then when we got to PE, I rode the KTMs there to try, and I killed another clutch on the Husqvarna. On the KTM. And then I tried the KTM and I just felt so much better. And I said, it feels like I can control it more. So I said the plastics feel a bit thinner. And my dad measured the plastics and it's actually 2 inches thinner. Or what?
2 millimeters.
2 millimeters thinner. So this one here is my race bike. We have the big seats on it. And if like this bike dies, we just put the big seat, swap it over. Everything's the same, I think, just the different colors of the pipe.
Alright, so let's just focus on the pipe there. There you go. Good man, good man.
My name is Alex Cooper. I'm 10 years old. And when I started motocross, my dad bought me a Husqvarna TC50. I was 7 years old at the time. And we went to Terratopia, and at the top there's a little oval track, and I was so scared to ride it. And Tony Riddell from Youngbloods Racing Team came up to me and said to my dad, I can see you guys are struggling there, would you like my help? And my dad said, oh yes, please, because we were really, really struggling. I was too scared to even get on the bike and rev it. And by the end of the day, I was riding the oval track quite easily. And it was very hard to get into motocross, and it still is very hard, but it's very fun. Well, my first race that I ever did was on the 26th of January, I think. I was racing a Mayfair gearbox. I had turned 8 just before that, on the 13th of January, and I was racing the cadets class because it was my first year. I got a 7th place overall, and then my second race went the same. I think I also got a 7th place, and that's when I did my first Farm Jam Enduro race on my 50. And I was in first place until my bike died. And I was so far ahead, and I pushed my bike the whole Farm Jam loop. And sometimes it would start, but mostly I was just pushing it on the side. Pushed it for 1.5 laps, and I still got a 5th place.
Awesome. And then later years, in the 50s and as you got into 60s?
So later years in the 50s was when I started winning lots of stuff. I would win all the cadets classes, and sometimes I would even win not only the cadets, not only the juniors, and also the seniors.
Alright, and then when did you go on to 65?
In 2020 I actually did the first national of the 50s. I got 7th in the nationals, and then straight after that lockdown came. And before lockdown, I was actually really, really fast on the 50s. Then lockdown hit and we couldn't ride anymore, and I just went through a massive growth spurt. And when I came back, we went to grasslands to try and just practice there. And I got on my 50 and I just couldn't ride it. I was way too big. and then my dad bought me a 65, and the first time I rode it, I think it was at Dirt Bronco, and at first I said I wouldn't like it, I would hate the 65, but then I got on and it was so much easier to ride. I first had to get used to the gears, though I was learning how to use the gears, learning how to use the clutch, and then we started jumping jumps, and it was very nice. I enjoyed the 65.
Okay.
My best results in the Nationals before this weekend, I got a 5th place at Terratopia. There were actually a lot of people that got disqualified, I think. I think it was like 4 or 5 people. And yeah, I was very sick that day. I was actually sick. I had an asthma attack while I was riding as well. But I managed to get a 5th place, and then I was 5th in the Nationals.
All right, good. PE weekend.
In PE, it went really, really well. We actually stayed there for 3.5 weeks, just practicing there. And then I actually was riding on the clutch too much, so I burnt out lots of clutches. I actually burnt out 6 clutches in, I think, 3 or 4 days. And I thought it was my dad. My dad was my mechanic, and still is my mechanic. And I thought it was my dad messing up my bikes, and he also did. But then we went, and then we just kept on burning clutches, and we didn't know what it was. We thought it was the clutch plate, but we checked everything, and everything was okay. So we actually I was riding Husqvarna's 65s at the time still. And then my dad bought me 2 KTM 65s because I'd actually been saying I wanted to move to KTM for a long time. And then he bought me 2 KTMs, and we went down back to Sasselberg to race there. And I raced Sasselberg. I got a 3rd in the 65s and a 2nd in the 85 juniors. And then, we came back up to PE. And I actually that was when I burnt my 6th clutch on the brand new KTM. It had like 1 hour, 30 minutes, and I just burnt the 6th clutch. And then when we finally realized that it was actually me. So my dad put my clutch up, and I had to learn how to ride like this. And it was hard to get used to, very hard to get used to. But I got used to it, and I eventually started riding very well. And I had to earn my clutch back. And the one day I came there, and 2nd lap I just jumped all the jumps, and I was flying. And then my dad said, "Here's your clutch back," and then I earned it back.
Good.
In PE on the race day, I came there, and in qualifier they had completely changed the track because we spent all that time practicing there, and then we come to the race and the track's completely different most of the places. But we came there and I had to get used to the track. I didn't do too well in qualifier. I got a 13th. And then in the first heat, I got a 4th. And then in the second heat, I got a 3rd and rode really well. And there was this big double in the middle of the track on the finish line jump. Actually, that was the finish line jump, this big double. And in first heat, I was too scared to jump it. But then in second heat, on the first lap, I came out and I was doing good. So I said, just jump it. And I saw my dad standing by that double. And he was going, come on, Alex, jump it. And I saw him going like this at the side of the track. And I just gassed it up the face. You don't even have to hit it flat out. You just go up. And then I landed flat. I didn't know what speed to hit it at. I came up to it with too much speed. And I landed flat. But then the next step I came around, hit it perfectly, landed on the downhill, and it was good. I was in 4th place, and then I crashed, and I was close to the back pack. I had to work my way up to the front pack again, and I got, 3rd.
Okay, and how did it feel to have a podium finally?
Very nice. In the Nationals, I've never had a podium in the Nationals, and it felt very good.
Okay. Now you spoke about your 85. How's it on the 85, and when will you move to the 85s?
I think maybe next year when we go to, we might move to America next year, Florida, and maybe then I'll move to 85. I still have a Husqvarna 85, and yeah, maybe I'll move to 85 then. I'm doing the regionals for 85. I'm actually leading the championship there. Yeah, the 85, when I first got on it, I loved it, but then I wasn't that fast on my 65s yet. I wasn't super fast, but then I got super fast on my 65s. And actually, when I ride my 85 on race day, on qualified, 85 is normally before 65. And whenever I ride it, I get a feeling for the track. So when 65 comes, I have already felt the track, and then I get a good result.
What do you think your objectives are in racing? What do you want to achieve?
I want to achieve first place in the SA Nationals, South African National Series. Maybe if we keep on pushing, we can get that. And I also want to go to Uganda this year in Welkom, the next nationals there. Hopefully, if I can get a top 5, I can go to Uganda to represent my country.
Okay, that's in the African, what's it called?
Motocross of Nations.
Motocross of African Nations. Have you participated in that before?
Never, I've never participated.
Okay, so you'd look forward to doing that, right?
Yes, very much.
Okay, now tell us about America, who you're going to work with there, and what you hope to achieve there.
Well, in America, we're planning to go there and live quite close to Tyler Rattray, because when he came to SA, I did a training day with him, and I was still on 50s then. I'd only been riding for 4 months, and I trained with him. And then he went back to Florida, so we're planning to live quite close to him, and he can be our trainer. And also, eventually when I'm older, maybe I can go to Olden Baker, because he's also in Florida, so maybe train with him. And I don't know, planning to go to Mini-O's and Loretta Lynn's, qualify for Loretta Lynn's, do quite well there maybe, and that would be very nice. In school, I go to Stain City School. I love that school. It's a very good school. It's very big. I have lots of friends there. My best friend Trent actually goes there with me. Last year he came there. I came there in 2019. He came there in 2020. Last year he was in the same class as me, but then this year we were separated because we played too much together in class. But yeah, I love that school, and it's very nice. And in my last report at school, I got a headmaster's commendation. I got A for everything except for dramatic arts, which is drama. I got a B.
Got a B. So you're not a drama queen then?
That's exactly what I said when I heard that.
Okay, and what other hobbies do you have, or things that you like?
I do swimming at Vaughan's Lifeguards. I do swimming lessons there. I started, I don't know, like maybe 4 years ago. I started there. They give you levels, and you have to wear the colour cap of your levels. So there's these 2 levels, white and black. Those are for babies when you start there. I was 6 when I started, so I started on grey cap, and then you had to go, on every level you would have to go whatever colour you are. Let's say grey cap, I would go grey cap, beginner, grey cap, intermediate, grey cap, advanced, and then you would move to the next level. And it would go grey, blue, orange, red, and then lifeguard level, which is the highest level of swimming that you can get there. And I'm on lifeguard level there.
Okay, that's great. Your dad's got flesh-coloured cap.